And a glorious good evening to each and every one of you. Before I get started, and I'm not going to keep you but a couple minutes because I know that premieres and stuff is coming on tonight. Let me just say this. Y'all see that? Okay, I'm going to call a couple of things to your attention that happened over the weekend because I know folks looked at the football game and saw those commercials come across the screen. And this one in particular said it had a picture of Kamala Harris on it. And it says inflation was 1.2% when they first got into office, and it's now 9.1%. But keep in mind, folks, look down into the fine print and see who's paying for that commercial. This particular commercial was paid for by the Heritage Foundation. Okay, that's thing one about the commercial. Thing two, as I have told you since Jesus was a baby, federal government cannot tell Safeway, Giant, Shell, ExxonMobil, etc. what to charge. Cut and dry, pure and simple. So keep that in mind. Also, there was another commercial on against Vindman in Virginia. Now, if you remember Vindman, he was one of the who had the courage to testify to the House of Representatives in Trump's impeachment. Trump fired him for that testimony. So when you hear folks from whoever is doing the background talking because their faces don't come on the commercial, saying that we can't trust Vindman, and that's all they're saying. They're not giving you any context. Can't trust Vindman, so vote for the Republican. Remember, and anybody, and you know how he infected, if you will, the whole party, because you had the Lindsey Grahams and the Ted Cruzes of the world in 2016 saying what a horrible individual he is. And then when he got into the White House, they couldn't kiss his ass enough. So let's keep that in mind as well. Let me see what else. Oh, and today, and to me, we get this Bama too much oxygen. But again, when I see folks, and I saw a commercial also, and it said it wasn't paid for by any particular candidate, but it was an attack ad against the Harris Waltz ticket when they had this black woman up there saying, you know, how she can't feed her family and that kind of thing. Again, that's the whole mantra. That in mind. Because again, even though the Biden administration has allowed or has sent money, excuse me, if you will, to governors of states, those Republican governors, and y'all remember, even with the healthcare piece, they refused to accept the help. So now they're using these commercials to spread lies, and that's just a long story short. But today, they were giving Trump oxygen, and he was saying, "Oh, I was in North Carolina the other day. I was in Georgia, and I went to North Carolina. The governor of Georgia is doing a fine job in his relief efforts, but the North Carolina, the people on the ground said we need help, and we're not getting any." Okay, the governor of North Carolina happens to be a Democrat. Also, keep in mind, I always tell you, the House of Representatives holds the purse strings to this country. Democrats have asked for additional money for FEMA, but again, with that little one-person majority, if the Republicans say no, it's not going to happen. And of course, because we don't know how government runs, we're quick to point to the Oval Office. I get it. Because if you don't know, you don't know. But I'm telling you, it ain't on them. The president does what Congress uh, mandates him to do. He upholds the Constitution and he makes sure that whatever laws are passed, that they are executed. But that's on the House of Representatives and the Senate. But because you don't know that that's not his duty and responsibility, you're pointing to the Oval Office. Don't do that. As I've repeatedly told you, and I'm going to tell you again, look up the duties of the House of Representatives and look up the duties of the Senate. And I've told you, and I'm going to read it again, the duties of the president. That's not under his purview. It's not. So let's be mindful when we start pointing fingers at folks. And I will guarantee you that when it hits Florida, because now he's saying with the hurricane, something about the government is going to take your land. People, please get $1 and buy a clue. And if you are listening, please call your folks in them states and give them my YouTube channel. Let them just listen. Listen to the information. And I implore you to act accordingly. But what I was getting ready to say, when it hits Florida, because Florida has a Republican governor, bet you money, they're doing a fine job down there. So that's that piece. Also, I've seen some attack ads on Angela Alsobrooks. Anybody who's been following me know that I didn't think that she was the best county executive. Y'all already know that. Semicolon, however, comma, she is running for a seat in the United States Senate, and the option is Larry Hogan, a Republican. Now, I'm telling you, folks, when I saw his first ad, I think it was last week, week before last, when he had somebody saying, Angela Alsobrooks lies. And the first thing that came to my mind, because I know that Larry Hogan, when he was governor, he vetoes access for Maryland women to expand access to abortion. He did that. And he vetoed several bills, including measures to expand abortion services and to establish a statewide paid family leave program. He did that. They getting on TV say he didn't. The Bama did it. Again, with all these mass shootings and all this violence in the schools today, why Larry Hogan were you fighting to get a concealed carry weapons in Maryland? And this was after a mass shooting in 2022. You did that. So, and having observed the Ted Cruz's and the Lindsey Grahams and just the Republican folks who were against him, who all of a sudden, with the exception of Mitt Romney, fell in line, I guarantee you, you don't want to roll the dice on Larry Hogan in this election. Again, as I have told you, he got 1.6 million votes for governor a couple of times. Jealous, let's talk about the last time. He got 1.6. Jealous got 1 million. But 1.6 of you mama stayed home and didn't do nothing. We can't afford for you to do that. Please. Can't do that. So I think that's all that I had today. But remember, what? We know that. We know that just like we know that we are breathing. That this Bama is a liar and the truth ain't nowhere in his vicinity. So I'm gonna be back to you guys because we still have to get you guys to call your folks in other states and have them go to Ballotpedia and see who's running in their states. That's thing number two. Thing number one, make sure that your voter registration is on point because I signed up to have my ballots mailed to me. I did that. I ain't got my ballots yet. So I will be up at the Board of Elections tomorrow to see what's going on. Because you should be able to, well, that's what the internet said when I applied for the mail-in ballots the first time. That all I had to do it was for one time. So, folks, I don't care what state you're in, and please, if you know somebody in any other state, please tell them to call and or visit their Board of Elections. I believe that in most states you can check online, make sure that you are registered to vote online. I am registered to vote because I did check that. Because I'm seeing all of these drop boxes in my community, but I ain't got my stuff yet. So I mean, and if I got to show up, in early voting, I don't have a problem with that either. But I know that I asked for mail-in ballots because we get up in age and standing in line is a challenge for my husband. So make sure that you are on the rolls to vote. This is 821. I'm out.